Hey guys, it's time for your rainbow in a jar experiment. So this one I'm doing on a YouTube video instead of live with you because there's a lot of parts, there's a lot of different materials we need, and it would just be easier for me to show it to you like this, and that way you can replay it if you want to replay it to do your record sheet. Please make sure when you watch this video that you have your rainbow in a jar hypothesis sheet, record sheet where you can keep track of everything. The first thing you need to do is this box that says hypothesis. What do you think the order of the colors will be? So I will tell you when to pause this video and complete this jar after I explain to you what the colors are and what we're using to make them. Okay? Let's talk about materials first. The materials for this experiment are a mason jar, honey, just regular honey that you would put in your tea, corn syrup that I had to dye purple, and Mrs. Rattel had to get creative. I didn't have purple food coloring, so I mixed blue and red food coloring, and I got this really cool purple corn syrup. The experiment called for green dish soap and blue water. Mrs. Rattel had to get a little creative with this too because I didn't have green dish soap and I tried to order some, but it didn't get here in time. So we're going to use blue dish soap and green water. We're just going to flip-flop the colors on those. So we have some blue dish soap, some water that I dyed green, some regular olive oil that Mama uses for cooking, and then some alcohol that I dyed red. Okay, so we have all of our rainbow colors here. And now I think you should pause our video and complete the hypothesis page right here. Color in your jar in the order of the colors, the way you think that they're going to settle in the jar. Okay? Go ahead and pause it and then unpause us when you're ready and we'll continue. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you've already done the hypothesis jar and you've colored everything in. Let's get to some results. So I have my trusty helper Grayson here. He's got his science goggles on. Gray, say hi.
Hi.
He's got his science goggles on. He's ready. Nothing's going to splash in his eyes. He's fully prepared. So we're going to take our jar, and the first thing we have to add to our jar is honey. So Grayson, I'm going to put all of these in front of you, and I'm going to ask you to hand them to me when it's time. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Grayson, I need you to hand me the honey.
Okay.
This one first.
There you go.
Thank you, helper.
Welcome.
Okay. And it says to be very careful that the material goes directly into the middle of the jar and does not touch the sides. So here we go. Put our honey in first. Put a little bit more just to make sure we get it all. Okay. Honey first. Done. Okay. The next thing we have to add to our jar, Grayson, is the purple corn syrup. Can you find what's purple? Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Mom.
And I'm going to take the spoon out of here just so it doesn't flop over and spill. And I have to be careful to pour this directly into our jar, right down the middle. Here it goes. Okay. The next thing we have to add to our jar is the dish soap. Grayson, can you hand me the dish soap?
Here you go, Mom.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Mom.
Okay. Next thing we have to add to our jar is the water. Can you hand me the green water, please?
Yes. Ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Mom. Whoa, now it's going.
Well, that spilled a little. Get our paper towel here.
There.
Okay. Next thing we need is the olive oil. Can you hand me the olive oil, Grayson?
Yes. Right here.
Thank you, sir. Okay. And then can you please hand me the glass with the red alcohol in it? Carefully. Thank you so much. Now this one, it said not to put it right down the middle. With the red alcohol, I'm supposed to put it up against the side of the jar and let it drip. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I have my eyedropper. I'm going to the side of the jar. I'm going to let it drip along the side of the glass. Okay, so let's see. Rainbow in a jar. Whoa, that's really neat. Can you see that, everybody? Mr. Attell, can they see all the different layers in there? Here, let me see the phone. I'm going to pull it up this way. There we go, up against the window. It's a little bit better. You can see straight through. Let's move a little bit closer. Let's open the blinds up a little bit more. I want to make sure you can see inside the different layers. Grace, I need you to sit down, buddy. And that's not better, Mr. Attell. Close that one. There we go. Just leave that one just like that. Perfect. Can you see the different layers, you guys? Red, yellow, green, blue, purple. Okay. I'm going to put it like this. Maybe you can see it better this way. I just want to make sure that you guys get a good angle and you can see all the different layers inside there. Down here at the very bottom is like an orangey color. Purple and blue, green, yellow, and red. Okay. Now, why did we do this experiment? All of these different liquids have different densities. And we talked about density when we did our sink and float activity. We talked about the density of water and how if the density of water was greater than the density of the object that was in there, the object would do what? Float, right? So that we can apply that same theory, that same information to our experiment here. All of these different liquids had different densities. The ones that are thicker and harder to pour have a greater density. So all of these, out of all of these different liquids, which one had the greatest density? The one with the greatest density is the one that was the thickest. So the honey had the greatest density. See how long it takes that honey to get to the bottom of the jar? It's because it's a very, very dense liquid. So this liquid went right to the bottom of the jar and stayed there. Okay, it did not move. Also, the corn syrup has a greater density. It's thicker. It takes it a while for it to get from one end to the other. It has a greater density. That's why it settled towards the bottom of the jar. The dish soap was kind of in the middle. Okay, it's not, it doesn't have the same density as water. It doesn't flow as freely as water does, but it's most definitely got a greater density than water. So the dish soap was kind of in the middle. Okay, then the water, and then the olive oil, it's kind of floated above the water, so the water has a greater density than the olive oil does. And then the red alcohol has the least density, so it's at the very, very top. Rainbow in a jar. All about density and the different types of liquids you can have. If I do this, you can kind of see almost like a lava lamp. I don't know if you've ever seen a lava lamp before, but it almost looks like the oil floats at the top and moves around a little bit. Hopefully you're seeing the colors here as I move the jar back and forth. Rainbow in a jar. So now please record on your record sheet the different colors that you see in the jar. The orange at the bottom, purple, blue, green, yellow, and then red. And remember we talked about if your prediction wasn't correct, is it okay? Of course it is. A prediction is just an educated guess of what you think will happen. Every scientist makes predictions. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. So please record the results the way that you see them. Don't change your prediction. Just be proud of yourself for making a prediction. Okay? So this was our rainbow in a jar activity, our rainbow in a jar experiment. I hope you liked it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!